Hi, it's Anjanette Fennell, your literary coach. I'm back today to start to break down some of the do's. In my last video, I talked to you about the top 5 mistakes that writers make when approaching agents and publishers. And today I wanted to start with how to turn that around and get you started on the right foot. So I have written some notes. It's a little bit spur of the moment for me, but I've written some notes. So let's just dive right in. Number one, this is my personal opinion based on my work as an agent and talking to other agents and publishers. Absolutely critical, even to the query letter process that we're going to talk about today. Finish your manuscript. Now, look, there might be people out there that say, but if I put together a book proposal for a nonfiction book, do I really need to finish it? And what I would say is that as an agent, and certainly myself submitting to publishers, I want to show that the person writing this has committed to the project. If you haven't committed before you want a publisher to get on board, then it's a much harder sell. Show your commitment. Show that you are willing to stand behind what you are writing, and that already starts you off on the best possible footing. Okay? Regardless of writing fiction or nonfiction. Have the passion and the drive and the commitment to finish your manuscript. Okay? And when you're writing your query letter, including the word count and the genre shows them that you have in fact done that. Which kind of leads me to a next little part. This might not seem exactly like 5 bits, but they're going to be 5 or more, is when you're listing your word count, we are looking for some specific targets. So if you have only written 20 to 30,000 words, while that might be good for a novella or an ebook, it absolutely won't get you a second look if you send it to an agent or a publisher. That's really short. Okay, so unless you have actually been approached and commissioned to write a piece that small, you want your word count to fall around the 70,000 word mark. That is really standard for novels to be 70 to 80,000 words. YA can be, if it's not in fantasy, can be a little bit shorter at 55 to 60,000 words. But to be able to put your bound book up next to another at a bookstore, you'll have to see that it has to be a certain length. Certainly you will find exceptions to that rule, but if we went and dug a little bit further, I think that most of the time you would find that those people already had a platform and had already published works before that. So finish your novel or nonfiction work around the 70,000 word mark. It also shows not only that you have commitment, that you have enough to say, and hopefully you will have taken advice that we will continue to give, which is to edit your manuscript. So putting that word count in there and the genre really helps the agent or publisher know straight away, okay, this person is serious and I like what they're writing about, so let me keep reading further. The next thing is tied into something we'll dive deeper into in another video, which is how to research the agents and publishers you're approaching. But essentially, in a query letter, you want to show that you have done the research, right? It's not dear sir or madam or to whom it may concern. You are getting very specific about who you are querying. You want to show that either by mentioning projects that they've worked on, or if you happen to have gone to a writers' festival or a conference or a seminar, and gosh, even if you've met them in person, you want to mention something so that they know this person knows who I am and they likely know what I like. So if they're still approaching me, then chances are better than average that I might be interested in reading this. Personalization is important. And as I said, we'll dig in to how to do that research work in a further video. The next thing is really challenging after having just said that a standard novel is at least 70,000 words, a great synopsis. Not a vague synopsis, but a great synopsis. And a great synopsis can be completed in 100 to 200 words. Hear what I'm saying. This is tough. I make no bones about it. It is one of the harder things for a lot of authors to do. It's like going from marathon to sprint. We are taking a 70,000 word novel and we are condensing it into 1 to 200 words. But the beauty in this is that by doing it, and if you do it really well, it shows the agent or publisher that you understand basic components about your work, which are the theme, the characters, and the story arc. This is not a back cover blurb where you are sort of throwing little tendrils out there and not wrapping it all up at the end. An agent or a publisher want to see that you've written a complete story. A back cover blurb is more of a teaser to get somebody to open the book and read it. And I know that there are some writers out there who have had success or do send out queries like that, but as an agent myself, I want to see if they have the goods. So I don't want a twist left there where I don't know how they completed the story, because I have no idea if this writer that I do not know knows how to complete the story properly or what the twist is. So be explicit, be really specific. 1 to 200 words. It's not much. There are some amazing resources out there on helping you to write a synopsis, and that's just given me another idea. I'll probably do a video tutorial on how to get your best synopsis, or at least how to start, and then it's a process of refining it. People might also call this an elevator pitch for your story, and that's another great way to look at it. If you've only got a minute or two and you're stuck in a lift or an elevator with an agent or a publisher, how are you going to make the greatest impact, right? You have to do it short, sharp, to the point. This is a perfect way to do it. So have a great synopsis. The next thing is that I've written down that I would like to know in a query letter is why your manuscript. Why your manuscript? So part of this tells us what comparables are out there in the market, and knowing that a writer is aware of what is popular out there and is realistic about their own writerly voice and tone and theme leads me to think, okay, that is something that I want to read. So if you say something like, you would be interested in my book, it's like a combination of The Alchemist meets The Girl on the Train, which sounds really kind of a crazy combination, and I'm not sure how that would work, but there you go. Combining two books that are very popular in the marketplace and that people find easy to recognize, but give them a clue as to what they are likely to read is really attractive. If, however, you make what I consider a mistake, which is to say, I have written the next Harry Potter. I can't tell you because I can't count on my hands how many times I got a query that said that. Now, we can cross our fingers and hope. I don't know of an agent or a publisher that doesn't look forward to the day when they discover an author who has written the next best multi-million-dollar selling novel or series, right? But when you are explaining something like that in your query letter, we want to see a sense of reality, i.e., is this something that is actually attainable? And because so many people say, I have written the next Harry Potter series, it's as if no one can claim that they have. Maybe somebody has, maybe, but the proof is in the pudding. Obviously J.K. Rowling couldn't have said that. She created something new. And so it's much better to give the agent or publisher an idea on voice and tone rather than just try to correlate whatever you've written to one of the world's best-selling series ever. Hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, leave me a comment and I can come back to you and get clearer about what I mean when I say look at comparables, and show the agent or author that you know what you're talking about in the writerly world. The last thing is something that is really simple, and it's not necessarily a deal breaker if you include the wrong information, but it's not as important as people might think, and that's your bio. Now, for me, a bio can be at the bottom of your query letter, and it can be short and sweet. The only exceptions to this are if you have other published work. So short and sweet would be your name, how long you've been writing, and anything else like that. Your age doesn't come into it unless you are a teenager or in your early 20s, and so it's exceptional that you've written this Goliath sort of amazing novel. Okay, that's something to speak about, but most writers are anywhere between their 30s and their 80s. So don't bother putting your age, or something like, I've always wanted to be a writer. Most people say that they always knew they wanted to be a writer. We just want to know who you are, maybe where in the world that you are from. If you have other publishing credits, that's amazing. And if you have already started your author or writerly platform, that's great to know. What that will tell an agent or a publisher immediately is if they have an avenue to sell your novel instantly. Now, it's okay, especially as a debut fiction author, if you don't have, hundreds of thousands of followers, but show that you have a Facebook page and website and some social media, and you're getting out there. Certainly, if you have direct access to media like radio or television, or some sort of famous person hiding next to you, or you're a famous person, certainly share that, and share any accolades that you may have for this project. There are a lot of people who write their manuscript, and before it's published, submit it as an unpublished work for prizes, to get money or to be included as a part at a writers in residence or anything like that. And if you have put your work up in a contest like that and it's gotten any accolades, include those. Otherwise, a really short and sweet bio is great, because what we really want to know is that we will like the story. Now, hopefully, that gives you enough. That should be about 5 things, and we will certainly dive into how to fix those other top 5 mistakes that I listed in the last video. But I hope that you got enough to clear up your query letter. As I said, send me an email if you need to at anjanette@yourliterarycoach.com. Check me out at my webpage, anjanettefanel.com or storyteller-inc.com. And certainly pass on any questions that you have, because I would love to help you get your query letter right so that you can get your manuscript read and published. Okay, look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.